And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. We're back again on Sunday night, Matt. You, me, and everyone else here in the comic multiverse universe. I'm taking a night off from watching wrestling to be with you all because I already canceled the show once this month because I had dental surgery and I'm gonna have to do it again on the 15th. So don't say you didn't get your full worst of show. And because there was just so much goddamn new Star Wars stuff that dropped, I knew you would be chomping at the bit to talk about it. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yes, it's Star Wars Celebration. At the moment, it's on its last day. I think the last couple of hours, and there are lots of stuff dropped.
For the first time ever, big shout out to Ashley V. Robinson, friend of the show, frequent interviewee of the show. She actually got to go there officially.
Oh, nice.
I know, so I got to follow the whole trip and live through it vicariously via all of her social media posts. And I'm like, man, I miss conventions. I miss going places. Remember when we could go places, everyone, and it wasn't a big fucking deal, and you didn't have to worry about taking your life in your hand, and you didn't have to get a thing jammed up your nose?
I know, right? Yeah.
The world was so much simpler 3 years ago, and I know it's only 3, but it feels like a fucking 100 years ago now.
It does really. It's kind of crazy to think that 3 years ago, like around this time, like the pandemic was like taking off.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went back and watched some of my old con footage that I put together, and I'm like, man, I sure had a lot of fun back then just a couple years ago. Before everything was fucked. Boy, that was fun. I guess this is just living now.
Yeah. I haven't been to a convention, since long before COVID, and like even now, like things here in Australia are kind of like cooled down a little bit. But like even then, they've got like conventions running, and it's like, hey guys, come and see these people. Yeah, these ones who were the only ones in the country at the time, it's like really random, like novelists and like people who had bit parts on some sci-fi TV show or something.
Yep, they were doing that here in Canada too, which in the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck, I'm a D-list celebrity. I'm on the same footing as these guys. Book me. I'm like, ugh, but I don't have to go into the city though.
Yeah, I usually don't go to cons anyway to see people. I usually go there for like the stalls, the comic books, toys and stuff like that. But even then, like other people were like pulling out, and there wasn't as much of that happening as well.
Yeah, again, it's like a shadow of its former self, where you're like, man, it's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I hope they pick back up again there.
Yeah, isn't San Diego Comic-Con happening this year?
I believe it is, actually.
Yeah, I wonder what that'll be like, because I remember the last couple were kind of like shit shows.
Yeah, they were kind of shitty, and they were kind of online, and they were kind of not online.
And no one knew they were happening as well. I remember I like saw stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, San Diego Comic-Con's this weekend? How have I not heard any? Oh, there's nothing big happening at it.
We're in an even funnier kind of in-between period now, because it used to be like, okay, no one's going anywhere, no one's doing anything, let's be sure to like make these online cons the best we can be, and everyone was doing an online con, and it felt like, they were really trying to keep, fandoms alive and connected and everything, and it felt really good. Now it's like, well, you can go in some states but not others, and the rules are different, and you're not going to feel safe, and you're not going to be able to enjoy yourself, so
Yeah.
So it's this like stupid kind of like half measure freaking limbo we're in.
Yeah, it sucks.
A little bit. Hey, maybe by 2024, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see about it. But beyond that, what was your weekend like, Matt? What were you up to?
Not a whole lot, just because I was working quite a fair bit. But I did manage to go and see Top Gun.
Oh, nice. Yeah, everyone's loving that. That's getting rave reviews.
It's really fucking good.
I did not expect Tom Cruise and Top Gun to be like the most talked about thing in 2022, but everyone says it's a great sequel.
It's honestly one of the best, I guess you call them like legacy sequels, where it like comes,
which is a thing now,
comes years after the past, and it does like so much that you think it's going to be like, oh, it's going to be like a passing of the torch to like this new cast and everything, and it's like, it's not at all. It's just a movie about Maverick.
Yeah.
And these other people just happen to be there. And as well, the whole premise of the movie is the Death Star trench run. Like that's literally the whole movie. It's just a Death Star trench run.
He needs to get them together to do this very important, bombing run in the snowy mountains of somewhere against, vague enemy number 644, because the enemy was vague in the original Top Gun too, but we're keeping it extra vague now.
Yeah.
China Russia ran. The damn China Russia-Ranians are at it again, and only Maverick can stop them. You just know, because this movie, is on its way to making a lot of money and got all these rave reviews. There's some Scientologist writer high off his ass on Adderall who was up for 2 days being like, okay, how do we do the same thing for Cocktail and Days of Thunder? How do we bring Tom Cruise back and extend his career by another 2 decades? How do we make it work? We'll make him drive a real race car in Days of Thunder. He might die. We don't know.
They'll just keep ramping up the Mission Impossible sequels.
Yep. There you go. We're going to actually fire him into space. We're going to shoot him out of a cannon.
He's already going into space. He's like training to go into space for
that's right. He
is. For some new movie from the guy who did that fucking Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, see, this is the worst thing about Tom Cruise. You can't make fun of him that hard because he's such an insane individual. He's done all the things that would be funny.
Yeah, and yeah, like in this, like I know he wasn't actually flying the plane because the military wouldn't allow him to actually touch the plane because laws and shit. But like he's like, I still went and got my pilot's license, and there's one plane in the movie that he does fly. It's like his own personal plane, and yeah.
Okay, so for Cocktail Legacy, my idea is he goes back to that town from the first movie, right? And we find out that he actually fathered a kid he doesn't know about, and that kid, his bar is going under because a bunch of evil hipster mixologists with like curly mustaches and everything and their micro brews are stealing all his business, and they don't know what real cocktailing's all about. And so Tom Cruise, whatever the fuck his character was called, has to come out of retirement to teach him how to do crazy bar tricks. And we'll get fucking, I don't know, Ansel Elgort to play his kid, whatever.
Yeah, some news. Sam Worthington, Jai Courtney.
There you go. Jai Courtney plays his kid. And maybe they'll get back together. Maybe they won't. Who knows? We'll see. You'll go see it. But yes, believe it or not, everyone, this is a comic book show, and we have some comic book news to cover, but mostly we have a lot of Star Wars news to cover. So let's talk about the comic book stuff first. We got the first full-length Thor trailer this week before the show.
Yes, we did, yeah.
A lot of it is footage we already saw, but the big reveal is we finally get to see, but also more importantly, hear what's up with Gore the God Butcher and Christian Bale.
Yeah, he looks really fucking cool.
He does, again, I am a purist at heart. I miss the little head tentacles, but they do a lot of very interesting artistic stuff with the character because he is this kind of like black and white monochrome thing that clashes with the rest of the ultra color in the universe.
I like how much that stands as like his character, because as we see through like that first trailer and then this trailer, like the gods are all like they live in colorful lands and like everything's technicolor and all that sort of stuff, and Gore is the antithesis of that, which I think is kind of cool.
I kill the gods and I kill the color and the life as well.
Yeah. Also, I think he does kind of look, at one point in the trailer, he does kind of look like he does in the comics, like with the like no nose sort of like tentacles when he's in like the shadow.
Well, it's funny because, we see that thing on his head there where tentacles would be, and they're kind of like scarred. And I'm like, wait, did he cut those off? Is he like one of those weird sadomasochist monks or something? Could
be also maybe the necro sword, like the more he uses it, it transforms him into
kills
that.
Him a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, my idea is basically just like, Christian Bale probably didn't want to sit in the makeup chair for 2 extra hours. So they're like, fuck it, nix the head tentacles.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm already getting painted. Who gives a shit? Love the voice he's given for the character, though. He sounds foreboding, as Gore should be.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, Hela was a scary villain, but she was also fun, too, and she did funny shit. Like, she'd throw the gauntlet around and everything. This looks like a much more serious villain.
Yeah, and it makes sense because he was a serious villain in the comics.
Yeah, he's a god serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how much of his origin they're going to keep in place, because I always thought Gore's origin was one of the best parts about him.
I have to imagine probably most of it.
I mean, it's very easy to do. It's like, yeah, I was on a planet where people loved and revered the gods, and it literally killed them.
Yeah.
Because they fucking starved praying for food. They, went hungry and everything, and I blame all of you because of it.
Yeah, again, very simple.
Yeah, you gods are so selfish, you don't care about the lives you trample.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting for Thor to kind of have a reckoning with that, especially, as it builds on the theme from the last movie where Thor had to understand, like, oh, the legacy of Asgard is kind of shitty and built on a lot of bad stuff, huh?
Yeah, and this movie looks like it's him trying to, like, find his place in the universe now, as I guess because he's obviously not All-Father or anything. He's just, like, he's Odin's son.
Yeah, I'm not a hero, I'm not a god, what am I?
Yeah.
Michael Reeves helping us out. I think they also wanted Gore to look different from the villain from the Harry Potter movies with no nose. Yeah, I guess he does look a little Voldemort, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'll allow that again, he looks a tad Voldemort-y. Fair enough. I will say another thing I love about Gore the God Butcher, not overused at all.
No, yeah, he was, like, in that one Thor story, he died, and then they haven't, like, shoehorned him into anything else.
Aaron perfectly, bookmarked him there because he was in that first story, and then he was at the very last Aaron story, like 5 years later.
Yeah, I do still like how writers like Donny Cates and all that still use him as like a ghost in Thor's past.
Yeah.
Like, they're not bringing him back, but they keep referencing him, which is
He's
really
the
cool.
one who made me unworthy.
Yeah.
He rattled. I wonder, will they have that scene in the movie? Will he whisper in his ear and try and make him unworthy again? I wonder.
That'd be quite interesting, yeah.
To see how they play with that one. Yeah, I wonder. I truly do. So yeah, there's Thor Love. Anything else from the trailer worth note? A lot of cool stuff happened in it, but it's mostly stuff we've seen already.
People noted Thor has a back tattoo that says "Rip Loki."
Really?
Yeah, he's got, like, it says "Rip." It's when Russell Crowe blows the robe off of him. People can see it says "Rip Loki," and it's got like a tattoo of Loki's helmet.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. That's awesome. He got that one drunk night with the Guardians. I want a tattoo.
They went to Contraxia and he got that.
Yeah, I want a fucking tattoo. R.I.P. Look, we had a complicated relationship, but I loved him in the end. I want a tattoo. Man, I really hope, Loki from the Loki show eventually runs across this Thor. It's like, did you get a tattoo? Really? Oh, man. That would be funny. I would like that a lot. Also, thank you, Pat Senior, for the subscription. Always helping us out there. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We got that. Oh, I guess a lot of people were really excited because we had that scene of Thor in, like, the trophy room there, and we see a bunch of statues of what looks to be other very important Marvel cosmic figures.
Yeah, there was Infinity, Death, Uatu, the Watcher, the Living Tribunal.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of different things, yeah.
Some people think they maybe saw Bast too, but it might have just been another Panther.
No. Bast is there actually in physical person in that scene where Jane and Valkyrie are sitting in those chairs in the coach. She's in front of them.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that this is becoming such like this funny Taika Waititi movie is this thing that's kind of tying together all the other bits of Marvel cosmology.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. You got a character called the God Butcher. You're gonna need gods to butcher.
Get a couple gods in there to butcher. Yeah, I suppose so. Oh man, that's tight. Oh, we get to see Jane use the hammer in a different way because it's still all broken. She can like throw a bunch of shards and then call it back. That's pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's a cool trick. I like that a lot.
I wonder how much they'll go into the hammer in terms of like, oh, it's got like a trapped storm god in it and
a mind of its own.
It's angry at Thor and stuff like that. And
are they gonna go that far into it, or is it gonna be like, nah, the hammer just wanted to teach you a lesson or something?
Yeah. Because it technically doesn't have any enchantments over it anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of places they could go with it. Yeah, looks fun. Definitely an exciting movie. I'm sure will make a lot of people very happy.
Yeah, comes out in a month.
Yes, it's going to be the first big summer movie. Eric Santi helping us out there. After reading Legion of X, I would have loved to see Gore make an appearance in that series and love the Eric High's way of choosing gods. Yes, Legion of X is awesome. We're going to be talking about that. Don't worry when we talk about what we read this week.
Yes.
Captain Kuhn helping us out too. Joel, you missed Thor's Loki tag too because you were checking out Hemsworth but not judging. Were and some probably still are.
On YouTube now, I don't think it's on every video, but on like big videos, they have like a most replayed chapter select.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And on that trailer, that was the most replayed part.
That's got to be a great ego boost for Hemsworth knowing there. It's like, yep, this was the right choice to go full ass out for this role.
Hey, when he gets that big for that role, well, I think he also got that big just because he's playing Hulk Hogan as well in some biopic.
That's true,
because I know he like got super fucking big for this role.
For that, yeah, he had to be like 80s height of steroids, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, don't unionize, brothers. All you other wrestlers gonna be me on top. Yeah, I think I don't wonder if they'll actually do it, but you could actually make a really great Hulk Hogan movie if you leaned into how much of an asshole he was throughout his career.
Oh yeah, you do like what they did with that Pam and Tommy show.
Yes, very much so. Oh my god, yeah, wow, why did those guys who did Pam and Tommy and that Tanya Harding movie not do Hulk Hogan? That would be so good. Like really zero in on this guy who's like, well, I was the best in the world at what I did, brother. I made it look easy, and I stepped on every person to get to where I was.
Yeah.
And you know what it got me? Nothing. A messy divorce from my wife, a son who killed someone in a drunk driving accident, and a talentless daughter whose career I tried to kickstart several times. Like, I think the universe punished him. It's like they gave this man so much love, and then they took it all away from him.
Yeah.
Fucking Hulk Hogan is a Greek-ass tragedy if you play it right. But you know what, brother? I still go out there and I still get cheered. Well, in Saudi Arabia when I go there. I can't do it here in America anymore because, I said the N-word on my sex tape. So, yeah, people get mad at me.
But I have that Gawker money, brother.
But I got that Gawker money because he beat Gawker and actually struck a major blow for personal privacy on top of everything. What? His life is fucking weird. Weird and fascinating, and you fall in and out of love with him several times. I hope that Hemsworth movie captures just a smidge of that. But yeah, so that was Thor: Love and Thunder. Looks good. And hey, speaking of which, Taika Waititi, who's working on that, according to Kathleen Kennedy, the next time we do see a Star Wars movie, and I know it's kind of been a bit because it's been living on TV and streaming forever, apparently it will be the Taika Waititi movie, whatever that could be.
Yeah, sometime next year. I'm going to assume December next year.
Yeah. I think Waititi is a good match for Star Wars because obviously his stuff is funny, but also very human and can surprise you with the levels of darkness that he goes to sometimes.
Yeah, the stuff he did with Mandalorian in season 1 was great.
Absolutely. Yeah, and he's in Star Wars too is the other thing.
Yeah. And I imagine he'll be in this new movie as some other mo-capped creature
alien
or droid. Yeah.
Ship AI. Again, the man knows you get 2 paychecks, not just one. I'm an actor, writer, director, you see. Means they got to pay me 3 times and they can't fire me. Love that dude. Again, fucking Waititi. He's less a man, less a director, and more some sort of powerful ancient fae spirit that you just summon sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, too, you look at his work and it's like, wow, that's funny and also sad and also kind of life-affirming at the same time.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, let him play in a sandbox as big as Star Wars. No telling what he could create. And hey, speaking of new things that have been created in the world of Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi dropped this week, and we got not 1 but 2 chapters out of it.
Yes, we got the first 2 chapters.
Yes, you notice that they're doing chapters now. They're not even trying to come up with episode titles anymore. It's just like, fuck it, chapter 1, chapter 2.
I'm fine with that. I think The Mandalorian is the only one that actually had... Oh, no, the Book of Boba Fett had titles.
Did they have titles? I thought they were also just part 1, part 2.
They were, and they had like subtitles.
Oh, that's right, they did.
Yeah. I think this is the only one. Or maybe, I haven't checked Disney Plus, but maybe these actually do have episode titles.
Maybe it's like at Mandalorian, you had to like watch to the end of the episode and then it told you.
Yeah, oh, and as well, like they usually wouldn't put the title up like for at least a couple more hours because
'Cause it
usually
might
the
be a
titles
spoiler.
were kind of spoiler-ish, kind of like goddamn that Book of Boba Fett episode, which is just literally called "The Return of the Mandalorian."
Yeah, fucking Din Djarin's coming back, everyone. Cowboy saying there Joel should launch a wrestling channel. I've thought of it, but wrestling channels are even nicher and more cutthroat than comic channels. At least here, I got kind of a stick to shake. I can't in that realm. Also, those companies crack down super hard when you use their footage. Comic companies don't seem to give a shit, so you know.
Yeah, it's very early Nintendo with the
Very.
wrestling companies. Yeah.
Very, very much so. They will nuke you if they have the chance. But yeah, Obi-Wan, we got the first 2 episodes. And man, you know, credit where credit is due for this series. We had all the trailers, we had all the screenshots and everything. They really didn't tell us anything about what this show was going to be.
Not only that, most of what we saw in the trailers and everything are from these first 2 episodes.
First 2 episodes, meaning whatever comes next is a total fucking mystery.
Yep.
I do love when you fire up this episode. It's like, hey, everyone, here's a recap of the prequel trilogy in case you didn't know. I'm like, if I'm watching the Obi-Wan show and I don't know what happened in the prequel trilogy, then you might as well just tell me stop right now.
Hey, you gotta remember that, like, some people out there, you know, kind of idiots.
That's true. And also, it's like, you know, they probably haven't seen the movie since they came out.
I was kind of hoping that since because that like cuts all the 3 episodes together and like shows you like Obi-Wan's story, I was kind of hoping that they do like a greatest hits of his time in like Clone Wars as well.
Yes, would that have been nice?
Yeah, just because of how much these shows are like relying on like those animated shows.
Yes, and how much pull Dave Filoni has.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get that little recap there. It's so funny, you know, we've said it 100 times before, but it bears repeating. Star Wars really is at its best when it's drawing creative reference from Western and samurai movies, and this is totally a goddamn Western pastiche once again.
I said in my review of it, it's very Western like The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, but where those took inspirations from more like blockbuster westerns, like Good, the Bad, the Ugly. This takes references from like stuff like The Proposition and the assassination of Jesse James, like the more refined, character focused ones.
Absolutely. This is Obi-Wan as the old, broken-down gunslinger who doesn't know what to do with himself, who is haunted by the decisions he made in his past, and he doesn't know what to do with himself until he's given the chance to, you know, again, knocking on heaven's door to get my guns out the ground one last time for one last ride.
But even then, he's very apprehensive about it.
He is. He doesn't want to do it every step of the way, which is very interesting for him.
Yeah, we first see it when that other Jedi, played by Benny Sadfree, the director of Uncut Gems.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah, comes to see him. I don't know how he managed to find Obi-Wan.
Yeah, the Force. The Force told him. It was the will of the Force that he find him, get denied by him, get killed by the Inquisitors, and in doing so, push him to go on the mission that he needed to go on.
Yeah.
So that's important, I suppose. Wow, man, I didn't know that he was the Uncut Gem director. That's fucking awesome. That means this episode was filled with fucking cameos.
Yeah.
We get him. We get Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who is one of the kidnappers.
Yes. Needles from Back to the Future kidnaps Princess Leia.
One of the nihilists from The Big Lebowski. Man, Flea fits perfectly into the Star Wars universe because he's always looked like an alien.
Looks really fucking weird, yeah.
He looks weird. He looks like an alien. We get a great clone cameo from Tamir Morrison playing another clone trooper.
Yes, playing a 501st trooper.
Yeah, that's an amazing scene. I think a lot of people miss like the real impact of that scene. It's like, wait, if that guy was in the 501st, you know, what becomes Vader's Legion and everything? That means this clone probably fucking knew that was Obi-Wan, but didn't like rat him out or anything.
I don't think he knew it was Obi-Wan because I know there was something in the Clone Wars that talked about how like the clones age, they kind of like get a bit fucky, you know, dementia and shit, and like because of the rapid aging and everything. And as well, like I imagine like it's just kind of interesting to think that like, oh yeah, he would probably, you know, raided the Jedi Temple and killed a bunch of Jedi and everything, and they just kind of like threw him away.
They threw him away like old garbage. It's a great scene because, yeah, what you said, and also Obi-Wan, who always had a good relationship with the clones, Rex and Cody and everyone. And so to see them brought so low and to be replaced by stormtroopers, even if they were responsible for Order 666 and everything there, the fact that he still feels bad about it and gives him some credits, I'm like, ooh, that's strong stuff.
I like how Obi-Wan was having kind of like a Nam flashback during that as
much
well.
so.
The wide eyes and everything, wondering what the fuck's gonna happen.
It's beautiful too because all the clones look the same and all sound the same. So when he heard that voice, yeah, that totally sent him back to the shit in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So good. Also, hey, that young girl who sells him spice there on the gangster world, that's his real daughter.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Ewan McGregor's real daughter. I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. I like that.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that. Oh, man. Kumail Nanjiani playing a fake Jedi, doing a fake Jedi scam. Oh, that's good.
It's good casting, yeah.
It really is. I'm like, yo, can we follow Haja around? I like Haja. Just a guy pretending to be a Jedi, just fucking, physical Mr. Bean comedying his way through the Star Wars universe.
Well, he survived, so he might show up again.
He might show up again. I totally like that. That's good stuff. Obviously, of course, our villains for the piece are the Inquisitors, who we saw in Rebels, and what is it, in the video game?
Yep, in Fallen Order.
In Fallen Order, and we got a new one, Second Sister, or Reva, as she's called, and she seems to hate Obi-Wan more than anyone else, not just for Inquisitor reasons, but she seems to have some sort of personal reason to hate Obi-Wan that we're not quite sure about yet.
I kind of have a theory about that.
Do tell, because I have my own theory too.
So at the start of the show, we get to see like those younglings trying to survive Order 66 in the Jedi Temple. One of them looks very similar to Reva.
Same-ish haircut, yeah.
So I think maybe she's probably, and most of the Inquisitors are former Jedi.
Exactly, like including the Grand Inquisitor.
Grand Inquisitor used to be one of the Temple Guard, yeah.
Which I fucking love. I hope they touch on that story at some point where it's like, dude, you got all pissed because you couldn't go to the library. That's your origin.
They did it in the comics, yeah.
I know they did, which I think is kind of awesome.
Yeah, so I think like we see them run across that bridge, and as I knew, and then others have pointed out, that's the same bridge that in episode 3 Obi-Wan finds a group of dead younglings on.
Oh, shit.
But it's the wrong number, so like some are missing. So I reckon we're going to get the continuation of that probably in the last episode, and they're going to run into Anakin.
Right, that was my assumption too, where it's like she blames Obi-Wan because you didn't save my friends, you didn't save me.
Not just that, she probably blames Obi-Wan because he trained Anakin, and Anakin turned to the dark side and killed all her friends.
So this is really your fault when you break it down, Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's already basically blaming himself for that, so.
Yeah.
It's funny, I think in many ways this show, this kind of like Star Wars meets Taken, I feel like this is the show a lot of people wanted Boba Fett to be, because we even kind of get to see like a darker, grittier underbelly of the Star Wars universe when we go to that other planet and it's all fucking neon Vegas.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, we get a drug lab and everything.
Yeah. There's again like little things that probably should have been in Boba Fett as well.
Yeah, because Boba Fett never leaves Tatooine. That was more of a Western because that's more like Dances with Wolves. That's more Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you could very easily have done that with Obi-Wan, too. Like, you could totally have switched their stories and it actually would have made sense. Like, if Obi-Wan had to live with the Sand People and learn to find himself again.
Yeah, it's almost like all of these characters undergo the hero's journey, and the hero's journey is a hugely popular way of taking a character.
Writing. How about that? Yeah, I know. It's like people never seem to understand that. Oh, we haven't talked about it yet. Obviously, the big inciting incident that gets Obi-Wan out of retirement is Baby Leia, I say Baby Leia, she's 10 years old, gets kidnapped because of a big scheme involving the Inquisitors. Man, that actress playing young Leia is really good, isn't she?
She's really fucking good, yeah. I loved her. Usually I'm not too hot on kid actors because usually they're pretty cringy, but yeah,
they are.
She was fantastic. I like how like Obi-Wan even references like, are you sure you're 10 years old, because you seem a little bit wiser than your years.
To think how far the Star Wars series has come from casting one of the worst child actors. to finally casting good ones. And yeah, this bit reminded me too, where I'm like, oh yeah, Leia in the original trilogy was like really, you had to rape your wit and was a ball buster and everything. Like, oh, you're a little short to be a stormtrooper. I'd sooner kiss a Wookiee. You're a scruffy nerf herder. And I'm like, oh yeah, so of course she'd be like that as a kid and everything. That's really fun, actually.
Yeah, and yeah, she has great like chemistry with like Obi-Wan, and then also with Jimmy Smits's Bail Organa.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
How good is it to see Bail Organa again?
It's just good to see Jimmy Smits again. He's so charming.
He's just down for everything. I love he always comes back for Star Wars. And this is really important, too, because it sets up, Leia's upbringing and why she becomes the person she is, because her father instilled this, like, real sense of civic duty with her and everything. She's nice to droids when other people aren't.
Yeah. That scene with the droids I thought was really quite great, because just in the background as C-3PO and R2-D2, they didn't draw any attention to it. They're there, though. They're just there. It reminds me of like how they did it in Rogue One, where it's just like it cuts to them and it's like a 2-minute scene with them we're going to battle. I'm like, no, don't do that. Just have them puttering around in the background serving drinks and shit. That's great.
Yeah, it's just cool, too, to see Alderaan, too. It's like, oh, Alderaan pre-blown up.
Yeah, I hope nothing ever happens bad to this planet.
Yeah, where her dad's like, hey, you'll be ruling this planet in no time, and your shitty cousin will be working for you. I'm like, no, you won't. If only you knew what was coming, Jimmy Smith. But yeah, that shit was really fun and really solid. And the big scene we end on is, Obi-Wan coming to the realization that, Anakin didn't die.
Yes. And just before that, the Grand Inquisitor is stabbed by Reva, and so many people seem to think he's dead. But
I'm like,
he's not.
Obviously he's not.
No, obviously he's not. We've seen so many people getting stabbed and shot in Star Wars that surely by now they would know that, they would be okay.
That doesn't mean death. That only means that, the Inquisitors are probably going to be coming after Reva while Reva's coming after Obi-Wan.
Yes.
That again, they're all on different sides here. But yeah, fun stuff. Dug it. Definitely interested to see where it's going to go from here, because we don't know where it's going to go from here. We haven't seen anything. No. We get another episode on Wednesday, and yeah. Nice. Oh, it is Wednesday, not Thursday?
I do believe it's Wednesdays that it's happening. It was they changed the dates for this for I'm not really sure why. I think so they can premiere it at Celebration. Right. But
that makes
then it comes out on like the 2nd or something.
Okay,
first I think of June.
Yeah, okay, that's good, because I didn't want it to correspond with Young Justice that I have to cover. Although Young Justice only has 2 more episodes left.
Yeah.
Eric Santi, did you see the leaked Blue Beetle set photos? I'm surprised how good it looks. Oh yeah, I didn't write that down, but we did. Yeah, Blue Beetle costume looks fucking dope as hell.
Looks so good.
Looks really good. I was already excited for that show, and now that I know they're putting that extra effort in to make sure the costume looks good, now I'm super on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I respect it.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how they're going to do it. Like, are they going to do it like they do in the cartoon where he has like a mouth? Or are they just going to have it just, Iron Man suit sort of thing?
That will be interesting. I mean, if they can do it for Robot Man in Doom Patrol where he doesn't have a mouth that moves. Maybe they can do it for this. I mean, it works for Spider-Man, too. Spider-Man doesn't have a mouth. So that's
true,
good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it can work for him. Now, what else we got going on here? Oh, so again, our cup just fucking boileth over with Star Wars content. They were launching a new show, and then they launched a trailer for another show. We got our first look at what Andor was going to be.
Yeah, and I think, again, I've always thought this is going to be the one that everyone suddenly pays attention to. And this trailer kind of confirmed that for me, because everyone was fucking talking about it.
Yeah, I was very interested to see how, like, your regular fans were gonna, feel about it. Because obviously you and I, we're in it. We're Star Wars diehards. We're gonna watch it all anyway for completionist's sake. But this was really compelling to me, because it's like, oh, we're doing a whole Star Wars series about a guy who doesn't wear cool armor, who doesn't have the Force, and doesn't have a lightsaber. He's just a regular-ass dude in the Star Wars universe. And basically, it looks to be a tale of how he got radicalized and how he became a rebel to fight the Empire. Yeah,
it's very like political thriller looking.
Yeah.
And it looks like as well we're not just following Cassian, we're following because we see like a bunch of different like people from behind.
Yeah.
And I imagine they're going to be like, oh, they're all our stories, because we have like Mon Mothma, we have like an Imperial, some guy who he's like part of like some security team, but it really reminded me of like, oh, that's just the Hitler Youth.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The Imperial Youth, which we saw a whole episode in Rebels of how the kids get indoctrinated and how they like beat all the hope and caring out of them.
Yep.
Which in that case, it's like, well, you can actually make a really fascinating show here about, like how occupations take place and how evil empires take stuff over, but how people are always rebelling and fighting back.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be doing that for the most part, because we see like the Empire coming into a town and like the people like banging drums to like signal each other and getting ready and whatnot.
We see a group of people who I can only assume are like the turncoats, where it's like, oh, well, they did used to be like our, guards or our law enforcement, but they quickly turned on us to, lick the boots of the Empire.
Yeah.
Because we see guys in uniforms that aren't Imperial uniforms, but are clearly like military uniforms going door to door.
Again, I think those guys are like the Hitler Youth of the Empire, where they're like kind of
brown shirts.
Yeah, where they're like kind of working for the Empire and like local militia sort of thing.
Yeah, which, again, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And also, too, I guess it only makes sense to, follow other people so you don't fall into that prequel problem where it's like, well, we know what happens to Cassian Andor. He dies when that planet blows up in Rogue One. But yeah, it looks very cool. It looks different. Again, I think they've, like, got that note from, like, the Marvel shows where it's like, look, just make them different enough.
Yeah.
Make them different enough. And again, hey, if, Obi-Wan and Mandalorian and Boba Fett are all taking their cues from Westerns and samurai movies, this one looks to be taking the cue from, like, World War II serials.
Yes. Yeah. Again, like some of the bread and butter of Star Wars.
So they're learning, they get it, where it's like, look, Star Wars just can't reference Star Wars. Star Wars needs to be referencing other stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And this is going to be the longest
Oh, really?
of the shows. Yeah, it's going to be 12 episodes, and it's 2 seasons already. So
oh shit,
24 episodes. Yeah.
So they really believe in this.
Yeah, and I guess they have a story to tell. Again, it's the guy who came in and sort of sorted out Rogue One who's doing it. Tony Gilroy, the guy behind like the Bourne films and stuff.
Right. Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some close-up shaky cam fight scenes. Because why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Why not? We got that. We also got the word on a new animated series for the Star Wars, Tales of the Jedi, which is going to be a whole animated anthology.
Yes, I saw the trailer for it, and it's on our Discord if you want to go check that out.
We're not saying, we're just saying.
But yeah, it's going to be 6 episodes, and it's literally just like another season of Clone Wars. It's set.
That's
fine. We get to see like a young Count Dooku with his Padawan Qui-Gon Jinn sorting out like some sort of civil war. There's a Yaddle episode.
Nice, which we've not really seen any of that stuff before. Like, yeah, hey, let's go back in time and look at some young Dooku stuff. Ahsoka, we're gonna have a young Ahsoka story too.
Yep, with her as a baby.
Which, again, man, it's funny when they're like, oh, this show will give us the origins of Ahsoka. I'm like, well, what the fuck was that 8 seasons of Clone Wars about, if not her origin? How farther back can we go? Baby Ahsoka? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, right up until the time Plo Koon comes and gets her.
I guess this is going to be learning about her parents and shit, I suppose.
Yeah, it'll probably be mostly about, like, her culture and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Star Wars fucking loves parents, don't they?
and taking children away from the parents.
They sure do. We love parents. We love killing parents. We love taking children away from their parents. It's a time-honored tradition. Yeah, sign me up. I'm about all of this. I definitely want to check that shit out.
Yeah, it looks really fucking good. It's just, yeah, again, just more Clone Wars episodes, which is always good.
Works for me. And speaking of more episodes, we just today we got the trailer for Bad Batch Season 2.
Yes, and it looks big.
It does. It's funny, I joked in Season 1 where I'm like, this is just the A-Team. And literally in Season 2, they're like, no, we're really just the A-Team, though. We defeated our villains and earned our freedom, and now literally, if you can find us, you can hire the Bad Batch. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
Too. I mean, literally, it's a great storytelling device because you could do a billion things with it, and they will. Omega is a little older now.
Yep, yep. Yeah, we see she's got like a new costume. She's still got that bow and everything. I like that they've also repainted their armor, and it's now, instead of like that gray red, it's like gray yellow.
Yes, because we've gone up in color. We're not like the crazy death squad that we were. We're actually kind of heroic now.
Nah, yeah, it looks great. There's we got to see the Wookiee Jedi Padawan Gungi again. We know he survived. We know he survived Order 66.
Everyone losing their fucking shit for Gungi. Everyone's just dicks out for Gungi, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that he survived. And I think we do briefly see some of the other guys from those Clone Wars episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll probably get another young Hera episode because she got an arc in the first season. We'll probably get more Cad Bane. Don't be shocked if we get Boba Fett at some point, because Omega is basically like him, another clone that got to grow up naturally.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see them continue that plot from like the season finale where the Imperials headed to Mount Tantus, because Mount Tantus is tied to like Thrawn and like the head of the Empire series and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what they're gonna do with that.
Places they could go, and I'm definitely excited about it. Man, they should make a Bad Batch video game, like a squad-based video game where you can play one of the guys and they all have their own different skills, a la Borderlands. Wouldn't that be fucking dope?
So like a sequel to Clone Commando.
Yeah,
Republic
exactly.
Commando, sorry.
Bad Batch Commando. Come on, fucking make it. Captain Kuhn helping us out. Don't you know, Joel, Star Wars, you don't special until your parents are also special. Yeah, that is kind of something they have to deal with, don't they? I mean, say what you want about the Kylo Ren, whose parents were also special, but he at least called it out.
He didn't buy into the nepotism.
Exactly. One family or one group of families cannot keep piloting the whole fucking universe. Damn it, Dad. Yes, I'm mad, but also right. We're getting a new Jude Law Star Wars series too. This won't be coming out till 2023, but it's called Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, this one was recently shot by John Watts, the guy who directed Spider-Man. Yeah, and it's called.
What's it about?
Skeleton Crew. Well, he compared it to like 1980s Amblin Studios film, so like a very like kind of like Stranger Things, bunch of kids on fucking bikes riding around fucking neighborhood, but like in space. I think it's about like kids that get lost in the galaxy or something. They got to like find their way home. I imagine Jude Law's probably going to be the guy who owns the ship they snuck aboard on or something,
Oh, interesting. So we're doing more of the exploration side of Star Wars, huh?
Yeah.
How about that? See, with a name like Skeleton Crew, I assumed that Jude Law, finds a haunted ship filled with skeletons and he has to become their captain.
Spooky skeletons, yeah.
Spooky skeletons that he has to befriend. He finds the planet of the Skelly Men and he has to, take them somewhere to find their skin, It's just Jude Law getting yelled at by skeletons for 12 episodes. Which, man, apparently we can't do any wrong with Star Wars these days for streaming, so why not? That's good shit. So some more leaked trailer stuff. This isn't officially out yet, but if you can look, you can find it. We got a little trailer snippet for the Ahsoka show.
Yeah, again, on our Discord.
Not saying, we're just saying.
But yeah, we got like a 40-second or so trailer of it, and boy did it confirm.
Rebels.
Boy did it confirm a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Rebels, but in live action is all we're saying. Yeah. They're doing the thing. They're doing the thing, Matt.
We literally see like Hera. We see Sabine. We see the mural that was in the final episode of Rebels that they had on that door between worlds place.
Yep, love it. I'm sorry. That's just my Oakwood erection hitting the table. I'm sorry about that. It's just everything I've ever wanted. More Rebels.
They confirmed Chopper is going to be in the show.
And he'll continue his massive
mass
kill count
murder. Yeah, now he's killing Imperial Remnant. Yeah,
in live action. Yeah, Chopper, the greatest killer in the Star Wars universe.
Hu Yang was in the trailer. The droid Hu Yang, is played by David Tennant in the Clone Wars series. He's the droid who ferries Padawans to Ilum to make their lightsabers.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's going to be cool. Again, maybe we'll see live action Ezra. Maybe we'll see live action Thrawn here. It kind of feels like that's where they're going.
I mean, Ahsoka mentioned Thrawn in The Mandalorian, and she's looking for him. So yeah, I imagine we're going to pick up right where that last episode of Rebels ended, where Ahsoka comes to Sabine and they head off to go and find Ezra and wherever they went.
I am so stoked for that, and I also know that's going to drive some people fucking crazy because it means they're going to have to watch the cartoon.
Yeah, I don't want to watch cartoons. They're not for adults.
But again, it's like it's the fucking Ahsoka show, so you know her from a goddamn cartoon. So if you're not watching it for that reason, then what the hell's the matter with you?
Exactly. You're going to miss out on like 90% of the story.
If you didn't watch the cartoons, then when she showed up in Mandalorian there, you were just scratching your head, in which case this is not for you.
Yeah.
This is for the people like me who are super fucking invested in this and for whom Rebels is still their favorite new Star Wars thing in like the last decade.
Yeah.
Such good shit. We got some comic news too, because Star Wars also is a major fixture in comics. We're going to be getting more High Republic stuff, and we're also going to be getting the first ever Yoda solo comic.
Yep. An anthology series. It's gonna be 10 issues, and each creative team, there's going to be 3 creative teams, and each of them get 3 issues.
Nice.
Yeah, so I guess it's just like it's going to take place throughout however many years, centuries.
I'm down for it. I'm down for all of this.
Yeah.
Michael Reese helping us out there. Hey, circling back to Blue Beetle movie, do you think average audiences will be confused by another hero with an alien on his body that he talks to?
No, because this one will probably be pretty good.
Yeah, people are.
This one looks like it's got some money behind it.
Yeah, but people will like this one not in spite of itself, and maybe not ironically.
Yeah, the summer of Blue Beetle, man.
Yeah,
I'm beetling.
This one, beetling so hard. We got to smash that over like morbing. I'm beetling, which some reason sounds much filthier, and I don't know why. Oh god, he beetled all over the place. Ah shit, get a shop towel. Man, yeah, I guess we'll have to talk about that now. So yeah, fucking Morbius, they memed it to trending on Twitter for like 3 days straight, even though no one has seen.
For a whole week.
Even though no one has seen the movie, and that's the joke.
Yeah.
That's the joke, that no one has seen it, and they're just like making up shit that happened in the movie.
Someone streamed the entire movie 24/7 on Twitch for I think like a whole day and a half before Sony took it off. And the perfect thing is that Sony nuked that stream just as the movie finished as well, like on one of its times. Yeah.
Stunning. They're like, we could turn it off now, but we want some people to see it at least. This might be the only way. But yeah, so people have just been memeing the shit out of it. Obviously, it's Morbin time. He didn't say that, but he might have. You don't know. You didn't see the movie.
Yeah, he might have. He might say it in the sequel. Yeah, he said it in the video game,
Yeah, exactly. The video game that happened. Yeah, you didn't know that. There was a video game, but there was.
Yeah, it was called Morbius Has Sex.
My favorite of those like meme Morbius jokes are the bit where someone has a line where it's like, yeah, but my favorite line from the movie was, before I thought I was Lessius, but now I finally know that I'm Morbius. Which is such a terrible line. You would expect it to be in a bad movie like that.
Yeah.
But also, as much fun as we're having with this now, everyone, don't meme it too hard, because the Sony movie algorithm that makes all their choices for them, they don't get irony, and they will greenlight a sequel just to spite us all.
Oh, they're hard at work writing it,
Man, fucking the last episode of Barry, they had a great bit where like a studio type talks about the algorithm.
Yep.
And it so perfectly encapsulates everything that's wrong with Hollywood and why we might get a Morbius sequel. Because it's like, wait, why are you canceling my show now? Oh, well, the algorithm, you weren't testing with the right key demos. But you said you loved the show, and you gave us a big...
It's only been 12 hours.
Yeah, you gave us a big red carpet, and you dumped a bunch of money into it. Why are you canceling it now the day of? Because the algorithm... What the fuck do you actually do here if you let algorithms make all your choices for you? I hear what you're saying, and...
It's the perfect encapsulation of, like, the Netflix model.
Yes.
They like cancel shows the day of them premiering like their first season or something.
Yeah. We don't let anything catch on because, again, we let fucking a computer pick stuff for us now because we have no actual concept of what is quality anymore because we just let computers do everything.
Yeah.
People like cake. They like that. If you eat a dessert in the first 5 minutes, that gets a season 2. Yep. That's what the algorithm has decided. And you're thinking that's ridiculous. No human being could do that. But, like, legitimately.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah. Barry was eating a muffin in the premiere because the algorithm says so. Well, I guess we know. Tevia helping us out, too, there. Opinions on Discovery being mad at J.J. Abrams. I don't follow Star Trek.
No, they were mad at him. They weren't mad at him. They were just asking, hey, can you... Because his company is, like, part of WB. Like, he's got, like... stuff to do with like Constantine and stuff and all that, and they were just asking him like, hey, can we like see some like scripts?
That's right.
That's literally all that it was.
Yeah, he was doing like Justice League Dark and Constantine. Yes, yeah, we heard about that forever ago, and he's like shown nothing about it.
Yeah.
Well, you see, it's a mystery box, my work. You see, it's right here. It's in this box labeled mystery.
Yeah.
I bet you want to open it and look at it. Well, you can't.
Can. And it's Schrodinger's mystery. It's going to be in there, but if you open the box, it's not.
Must be fun being J.J. Abrams. Must be fun saying I'm working on this stuff when I'm not. He's like, fuck, I wanted to write that Constantine thing, but I've just been playing too much Elden Ring,
Yeah, I've been trying to find what the next Lost is gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just here on New Game Plus. Just been busy. It's fun being J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
All right. Now, our last piece of comic book news here actually relates to something we're going to be talking about later. Robin versus Batman is going to be a brand new event coming from Mark Waid this September. It's going to be spinning out of the pages of that Batman Superman World's Finest. And also Shadow War, because this week they made reference to Devil Nisa.
Yeah, we'll talk about those fucking Shadow War books.
That blew my fucking mind. I'm like, seriously, these are connected? And also, you're basically telling us right now that Batman and Damian aren't going to be cool at the end of this because they got to go have a fight all September? Are you fucking kidding me?
People at DC have found out that sells stuff if they're against each other. I guess. How many times have we had like the Batman versus Robin? There was a fucking cartoon like movie made about it. So yeah, people fucking love it.
Again, like they've been at odds with each other for like a year and a half now, and apparently they're going to keep
more than that.
Yeah, I guess so. Has I mean, since Tom King.
Yeah, since Tom King had Damian be the reason why Alfred was killed. Yeah.
Which, fuck yeah, I guess that's been going on for like almost 3 years. And goddamn, are they just going to keep cock teasing us this forever now, apparently?
Yes.
This is the new thing?
Yep.
It's weird, too, because like it's one thing when Joshua Williamson's doing it, but it's like Joshua Williamson is handing it off to Mark Waid now, and also another writer in the Robin book, because he's off that book now.
Mm-hmm.
Weird choice. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do it that way, but apparently that's how they're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I guess with that, we can actually officially hop into what we read this week.
Yeah.
A lot of books. Again, I didn't get to everything, but I tried to get as much as I could before we started the show.
Yeah. Do we want to start with those 2 Shadow War books? Because this
we
pretty much finishes the event. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less. It's done, and we got an Omega issue after this.
Yeah, we got the reveal of who the Deathstroke was, and it's fucking Geoforce.
It was Geoforce, which I will admit, I was of two minds of this. The first time I saw it, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Geoforce? No one gives a shit about Geoforce as a hero. Why would they give a shit about him as a villain? And then I'm like, well, actually, when you break it down, it makes a lot of sense, because he was in issue 1, actually. Brion was in issue 1 of this. he was like the voice of the international world, being like, hey, Ra's al Ghul should be made to answer for all the crimes he committed, not just, answer in America. And I'm like, okay, that's a reason. Oh yeah, his sister was also like raped by Deathstroke very famously in Judas Contract. So yep, that's a reason to be pissed off at him too. He also got his fake suit from Gamby, the brother of the guy who, made suits for Black Lightning. So obviously he would know where to get a good fake one. And we know the fake was disappearing by traveling underground. Geoforce has those powers. And I'm like, okay, this was a long fucking walk to get here, but it checks out.
The thing that really, like, threw me, like, I understood all of them, but I'm like, really? It took you, like, this many years to try this? You didn't try this before?
Yes.
Like, how long ago was Judas Contract?
Like, forever ago? Yeah, like, if you were gonna break bad, why did you only break bad now?
Yeah, like, when Ra's was, like, deciding to, like, become a good guy.
Yeah, exactly. Eric Santee helping us out again. Batman and Robin are fighting because the algorithm said so. I mean, you joke, but like, yeah maybe that is
Batman
why.
ate a dessert, at the start of the series, yeah.
So it's got to be good, yeah. But yeah, so fucking Geoforce was behind everything.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough, I guess. And, and it explains why he was hiding his accent and why, he knew Batman and his tactics inside out because he was an outsider.
Yeah.
Once upon a time. And also he blames Batman too, because it's like, you could have stopped Ra's years ago, but you didn't. It's like, fair enough, but I was also shtipping his daughter, so it made it difficult. No one comes off good in Shadow War. That's the real problem with it.
No.
Everyone actually kind of feels like a different flavor of dick.
Yeah, and I can understand Batman being a dick, but it's not like that. Again, different flavor of dick. It's not the usual dicky-nish of Batman. It's like a very different one, and it doesn't fit him at all.
Functorial helping us out here. I want to see Venom meet Morbius and Manwolf, like Abbott and Costello meet the monsters. Okay, see, that would be good, actually. See, they won't make that because that's a good idea. But yeah, well, like everyone being a dick in this story where like Deathstroke, he's vaguely sympathetic because he's like, oh, I can have a second chance with Respawn. I can make up for all my bad mistakes as a parent. Oh, I guess he's dead now.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't live up to his name. Sorry about that. Oh, well, I've learned nothing, so I'm going to like threaten more children and break Clown Hunter's arm because I'm an asshole. Also, he's mad at me about Terra, so the book also remembers that Deathstroke is canonically a pedophile, too.
Yeah, multiple times, yeah. And again, I said it back when Batman first met up with Deathstroke in the book, like Deathstroke's first thing is like, these are my children. These are my... I'm like, oh, that's kind of creepy.
I'm like, you're a sex offender, man.
Yeah. Also, Batman has every right to try and take these children away from you.
Also, like, Deathstroke guilt trips him into saving the Secret Society of Supervillains because he's like, yeah, I bet you would only, help me and save me if I was a good person, not a murderer sex offender. And Batman's like, well... yeah, I try and help everyone, but yeah, the good people are going to take precedent over you because you chose this life and you're doing this.
You're a pedophile, man. You don't have the high ground.
Yeah, exactly. But like Batman's like, oh, you got me. I guess I'll get Batman Inc. to save you guys then. They do a real number on Rose in this book, too, where she's like, I have no agency at all. I helped Damien because he asked me, and then my dad tried to kill me, but I still helped him anyway. Still helped
him, yeah. She's just been going from one person to another. Like, I'll help you, because you said so.
Yeah, she's just ping-ponging around to everyone. I'm like, that's sad. Rose was a way better character in Robin. Why did she lose all agency?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this... like, in the broadest strokes, this book would be fine if it was just a Deathstroke story or just a Robin story, but the fact that it's a way too long event that makes me pick up multiple books, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Angel Breaker and Ghostmaker have a fight, too, because they know each other.
Yeah.
Which was kind of funny, because it's like, oh, hey, my original anime OC is better than your original anime OC. Let's have them fight and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is pure self-indulgence right here.
Yeah.
That's this book. It's indulgent. It has a couple good ideas, but, like, it doesn't need to be a big crossover event.
It's indulgent, but I could tell the writer, Williamson, was more interested in what he's doing over in Dark Crisis.
Absolutely. I would love to know, like, okay, when did he know he was writing Dark Crisis?
Yeah, well, when did he know he was writing Dark Crisis, and when did editorial tell him that this is going to be an event?
Yeah, because if this was just a story in Deathstroke or in Robin, I think it would have been much better. But the fact that it needs to be this overlong crossover, and also,
because again, these two issues, much like the last two issues, could have just been one issue of just
yes,
Deathstroke or Robin.
absolutely, and also too, I gotta wonder, it was part of this also stalling for time so Chip Zdarsky could start his Batman run.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's like, why does this need to be a Batman book too?
Yeah, it doesn't. He didn't need
really
to be involved at all.
Batman arguably has the least skin in the game of anyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the fact that he's just tangentially involved, where it's like, well, that's my kid and that's my baby mama, so, you know, yeah. I guess I'm involved.
I want to say as well, yeah, they're going to involve what was that villain called that Williamson did in his Batman run? That
Abyss.
Abyss. I swear it might have been in the last Batman tie-in, but like the ending said something about Abyss.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, you know. It's Williamson's story and it's Williamson's own OC, so yeah.
Yeah. Gotta get all the OCs together in one place. The OC League. But yeah, that was Shadow War, that was Robin and Deathstroke. It's whatever.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been an event.
It shouldn't have been an event. The reveal itself is actually pretty okay.
It's alright.
But beyond, it's alright, but it's also like, you know, no one gave a fuck about Geoforce when he was a hero. No one's gonna give a fuck about him as a mystery villain.
Yeah, yeah.
I do find it funny, though, that he is a mystery villain in this, and he's actually kind of an antagonist in Young Justice right now.
Oh, yeah?
So I wonder, I'm like, is that like a weird kind of synergy? Like, you know, did Williamson watch Young Justice? And he's like, yeah, you know, I got an idea for that. I wonder. I really wonder. Also, too, how the fuck do you keep writing a Deathstroke book now that you, like, straight up say, yeah, and hey, remember, everyone, canonically, this guy's a sex offender?
You have to make him a full villain now.
You have to. Like, that's what was so good about the Priest version of the book, because the Priest book made no apologies for Deathstroke. No. I am a villainous protagonist. I hurt everyone who's in my orbit.
Yeah, and for some reason, you know what it was? They tried to do, like, the Harley Quinn route with him, where they wanted the, like, we're going to turn him into, like, you know, the anti-hero, you know, cool anti-hero, like much like Harley Quinn, because that was really successful somehow. And yeah, we're just going to put that onto this character and see if it works. But the guy's a pedophile. He can't do that with a pedophile.
And at least with Harley, it's like, well, you know, she had Florence Nightingale syndrome. You know, she was a victim of the Joker. Where Slade is like, no, but he's a victimizer, though.
Yeah,
it's a big difference.
Yeah.
He kills for money. His whole thing is that he has zero, you know, morals. And yes, his family life is all fucked up, but it's fucked up because of him. Yes. That's the problem.
Yes. All comes
like he's
back
always
to
like,
him.
He's like, well, I feel bad about what happened with my sons and my wife and everything. Like, that's your fault because you took money to kill people and your enemies came to get you. It's always your fault, Slade. It's always going to be your fault.
Yeah. Well, at least in Dark Crisis, it looks like he's going to be a villain. So
it looks like he's going to break full. Is that what this about? Is this like Williamson being like, let us never speak again about an anti-heroic Deathstroke? He's bad and bad to the core.
But like, it's such a roundabout way, especially when you had like the actual Great Darkness be like, I can take over these villains and make them evil again.
True.
Like, you could have just done that, and it would just save so much fucking hassle with the series.
Captain Kun helping us out. Geoforce, you could have stopped Ra's years ago, Batman. Now, I hear what you're saying. You're throwing down points, but alternatively, look at Talia's ass. Just saying.
True.
Just saying, damn, you got me there. You got me. Oh, again, too, also, they make a big deal about, like, oh, is Deathstroke dead? Did Talia kill him? No, because we already know he's going to be in Dark Crisis.
Yeah.
We've already seen the artwork, so there's no point. No point in any of it. Oh, well. What else did you have this week, Matt?
Let's have a look. I had Action Comics issue 1043.
Haven't gotten to this one yet, but it looks good.
Yeah, it is. It's the second act of the big Warworld saga. It's called Warworld Revolution.
Nice.
And
killer. Yeah,
it's Superman just leading the charge with his Felosians and Warzoons that joined him against Teacher, who has Manchester Black like captured in like this machine that he was planning on using to like crack open his mind and use all of like the fucked up shit in his mind against his friends. Like he can make his like nightmares real. and he was going to use them against Superman and everything. But Superman that got there before that could actually happen, and they end up taking down Darling and Orphan and getting the orphan box that they needed to get a foothold. Mongul, meanwhile...
Love they have their own orphan box.
Yeah. Mongul, meanwhile, is in the necropolis, and he's trying to, like... He's, like, looking for something because he knows the rebels are down there, and he's trying to find them, so he's, like, ripping up the necropolis. And, he's told by a shadowy being that we don't actually see, but he's the one who told him to, like, goad Superman into coming to him. We don't see who it is.
Yeah, that guy who may or may not be the storyteller, but the guy who's been pulling Mongol strings since day one.
Probably Byla, probably the storyteller.
Because that guy seems to know the future, and Shadow Man also seems to know the future.
Yeah, he warns Mongol against this because of all the Genesis energy that's down there, and you rip it up. That's literally like the life force of Warworld. You rip that up, the great worms die, the atmosphere dies, whole planet fucking dies, but Mongol doesn't give a shit. He wants to stop Superman before anything bad happens. And we find out that he's taken Apollo from the World Forge, and he's like connected him up into Warworld's main system. So now Apollo, using Apollo's power, he can like teleport Warworld around the universe. Ooh. And he does so. He teleports them to like a world and like invades this world and like subjugates it. And we find out it's a world belonging to the United Planets. That one guy.
It's been a while.
That one guy, Tharos, who was like working for Mongol inside the United Planets and kind of stalling them from like helping.
Right. It's been a while since we've gone back to those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So he invades this world and meets with Tharos, and we learn that Tharos has been kind of like scheming behind Mongol's back, and Mongol found out because the United Planets have been getting like these Thanagarian warships ready, and they actually are in a position where if Warworld were to attack them, they could actually defeat Warworld. So Mongol says he's going to take this world, and he wants 10,000 of the warships sent to him so they can bolster his army. While all this is happening, Superman heads to the necropolis and hides out with the like rebels, and they're trying to sort out like what's going to happen next because they need to get Apollo, but then they also need to get Enchantress, and everyone now just realized that Enchantress is actually part of this team as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fuck, she's been gone. Everyone was asking where Manchester Black was. Yeah. No one was asking where Enchantress was, even though she was totally on the team too.
So we learn where she's been taken. She's been taken by what Byla and the others call like the Witch Queen. And she's like, we find out that long ago Mongol invaded this rich, resource-rich planet that everyone on it was already dead when they got there, and they found out that the people of this planet knew Mongol was coming for them, so rather than become slaves and everything, they released this ancient evil that was buried in their planet, and it killed them, but then it also killed all of Mongol's army, and Mongol was the only one who was able to survive because he made a deal with this Witch Queen where he'd give her everything if she worked for him. And that's who this person is, and Enchantress is trapped in what they call the nest, and they come up to this decision where they need to get Apollo, but they also need to get Enchantress, but getting Enchantress may incur the wrath of this Witch Queen who might kill everyone, so like what are they to do?
Bit of a problem.
Yeah. While Superman decides like what to do, he and Byla talk, and Byla actually kind of reveals like kind of a big thing about Warworld, and that Warworld, it was a planet beforehand, but after that it became kind of like a trap for what is called a god aspect. And what it is it's a god aspect is a part of one of the first ever gods ever created in the universe called Olgrim, who was like
hey, weren't we in Olgrim's mind in that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. In that freaking issue there, that special. Yes, that special issue. Yes. Okay. Cool. I'm on board.
Yeah. We find out that Olgrim was like, he's like the embodiment of like fury, rage, wisdom, like all these different things, and he wanted to like take over the galaxy, and other gods rose up to like defeat him, and they ripped him all apart and then cast him into gems, basically Infinity Stones, and each one of them is spread throughout the multiverse, and each one of them has a certain thing protecting them. And the one that protects the one on Warworld, like Warworld is the thing that protects it because it's at the center of it. And we find out that the actual gem is the thing that Mongol wears in his chest.
Oh shit! We're actually giving some story and origin to that because he's always had it. And I'm like, what the fuck is that thing?
Well, the backup of this story actually details how the first Mongol got that gem.
Oh, that's sick as hell.
Yeah, we learned that the first Mongol was just like a caveman who like saw something fall from the sky, and he went to investigate, and it was like another alien who had come to the necropolis to like search it, and he had the gem, and Mongol killed him and took the gem, and the gem gave him like sentience sort of and like power, and he took the name Mongol because Mongol in Warzone means strongest. Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and the issue ends with Mongol with his new Thanagarian war fleet finding the Phalosians and the Warzoons who are resisting him, and he just blows them all up.
So this stone stuff has to be Philip Kennedy Johnson's like next big thing on Superman that's gonna outlast even more worlds.
It's set up, it's the setup. It's like, oh yeah, Superman's gonna be going into the multiverse to find these, gonna follow Mongol or something because Mongol wants to collect them all or something.
This is a massive setup and also a good reason too for Superman to not go back to Earth so John can keep being Superman for the next little bit.
Yes.
We got to keep Superman nice and busy, but hey, I'm fucking fine with that. Yeah, multiversal Superman, hell yeah!
It is such a cool like story setup and everything. Like, yeah, it's basically like Infinity Stone, Green Lantern ring sort of thing. But like, I don't give a fuck. The story behind them is cool.
Likewise, I mean, this main story that I'm loving is basically just fucking World War Hulk Gladiator, and it works with Superman. So yeah, let's have him go on an Infinity Quest.
Conan the Barbarian via Superman.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, they're good stories because they work, and Superman can be dropped into literally anything and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go for it. I guess from Superman, we can talk about Spider-Man. I had Amazing Spider-Man #2 this week.
I haven't read this one yet.
A lot of people were very pissy because it didn't resolve anything with Mary Jane, and I'm like, no, really? 2 issues in, you think they're going to resolve the whole story right now?
That old thing again.
Yes. People were like, this cover lied to me, and I'm like, dude, comic covers have been lying since the Golden Age. Why are you getting pissed about this now?
I love when people get pissed off at covers. I'm like, this isn't the first time.
I'm like, you sweet, sweet summer child. You didn't know comic covers are basically the original clickbait.
Yep.
So yeah, it's Spider-Man getting involved in this big gang war between Tombstone and the Rose. And honestly, this is a very strong Tombstone issue because his daughter comes to him and it's like, oh, someone tried to kill you. I'll get the Sinister Syndicate. We'll go kill the Rose. And he goes, nah, Janice, I want you to get out of here. I want you and Randy to go on a vacation, not because I don't think you're strong enough, not because I think I need to protect you, but because I don't want you to see what I have to become to defeat the Rose. I gotta be the old Tombstone again. And in fact, he goes an extra step further by uncapping all of his teeth and re-revealing the fangs.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. They used to draw Tombstone with fangs, and then they just stopped one day. And he's like, yeah, $2,000 a piece for caps, but, I'm going to have to bite some guys in the face, so, And I'm like, that's fucking sick. I love American gangster Tombstone. This is great.
That's cool, yeah.
I love it. I got to be the old Tombstone again. And there's also like some fun stuff. It's Norman Osborn comes to Peter's door because he's like the only person who's still talking to him. And Peter's like, normally I'd ask you to leave, but I know you had your sins taken from you. And Norman's like, oh, that's so unscientific and shitty, but yeah, that's what happened. And he's like, I know you need a job, so like, how do you want to like watch my grandkids for a bit? So watch Stanley and Normie for the day. And Peter does like a good job with it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and Norman wants to rebuild his company. He's like, yeah, I'm an industrialist, man. I'm a moneymaker. I'm a mover and a shaker. I'm looking for a new office space. Maybe I can hire you on when I get it.
Yeah, nice.
So like good Norman just trying to like rebuild his life.
I kind of like the dichotomy there of like Norman's gone good, whereas like Tombstone, he was kind of good there for a little bit, and he's like broke bad again.
Again, yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. White Rabbit actually gets a shocking amount to do because her henchmen are like, why do we have to move the boxes? And she's like, because I got dressed up like a fucking rabbit woman today when I woke up this morning. That's why. Sure, I'm like, whoa, is that actual characterization? Is that saying White Rabbit doesn't want to be a white rabbit but has to be? That's more than she's ever gotten.
Yeah.
The big action piece we get is a cool fight in the back of like a box truck where Tombstone fights Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like, I've beaten Tombstone like dozens of times since high school. The problem is my acrobatic fighting style does nothing for me in the back of a moving truck. Yeah. So Tombstone like bear hugs him and breaks all of his ribs.
Oh no.
Yeah, and
no,
like Tombstone
trip.
Yeah, and Tombstone actually gets one over on him. I'm like, that's fucking cool. Good for you, Tombstone, getting your wins back.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's basically the issue. It's a cool, back to basics, down and dirty little Spider-Man story.
Nice. That sounds really cool.
It is, and because John Romita Jr. drew it, he draws really good violent action.
Yeah, he does. He really does, though, eh?
It's his skill. It's, it's something you can say that, he's not as good as he used to be, and maybe you're right, but he's always been good at drawing violence.
Yeah.
And this was a very violent Spider-Man issue, so there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, how Tombstone got his groove back.
Nice.
And he did. What else did you have this week, Matt?
I had Avengers issue 56.
Right, yes, the cover of this was a pretty big deal because it was Jane meeting Jane.
Yeah, so this is a continuation of the Multiversal Masters of Evil storyline, and we pick up where Jane is living kind of like a 1950s idyllic life with Thor. She's like a housewife in Asgard for Thor.
Oh.
And she's like having like dreams and nightmares of like Mr. Horse calling for her and everything, and she knows something's not right because she keeps thinking like, oh, I've always wanted to be a doctor, and then she like quickly corrects herself and be like, no, I want to be a housewife and a pig farmer, and be there for Thor when he gets home from work and everything, and she starts knowing something's wrong when she can't hear Mjolnir anymore. She's like, can't hear the hammer, and Thor's like, why would you hear the hammer? You're not Thor, I'm Thor. And like stuff starts going like a bit fucky around her, and she picks up the hammer and like she can just like pick it up and everything, and she's like, I can't hear its voice or its thunder anymore, and she hits Thor with it and it breaks. Oh. And it's here we find out that she is actually in a illusion cast by the Council of Red.
Oh yes, the devil guys.
Yeah, Mephisto has offered her like a deal where like she can have this life if she just stays out of their business and everything. And Thor ends up like melting because he's not real or anything. And the Mephistos show themselves. They're like there's like a cartoon one and like big fat one, big skinny one. And that's when the mighty Thor shows up. Jane Foster, who was a Thor from a different universe, who actually continued being Thor because Odin's son died during the War of the Realms.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting take.
And as she said, there always must be a Thor, so she continued to be Thor. So her and Jane team up, and because this is the Jane from the 616 universe, she has the all-weapon, and so she manages to tap into that and turn into Valkyrie. Cool. And so it's mighty Thor and Valkyrie fighting a bunch of Mephistos, and then they get to talking, and the whole issue is about like temptation and everything. And Jane thinks that like, oh, these by the end of the issue, once she's told the Avengers what happened and everything, she's like, oh, these Mephistos don't know her at all. They tried to tease her with like being Miss Thor, but she thought about being that at one point, but then she grew up and had a life and had cancer and became Thor and an Avenger, and she grew up.
You just know that's Jason Aaron, taking to task everyone who called Jane Miss Thor during his time writing that book. He's like, fuck you, I'm going to actually do Miss Thor.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fucking good story. And yeah, the end, she's like realizing like, maybe that wasn't the temptation. Maybe the temptation was putting Mjolnir in front of me because she misses being Thor. She misses the hammer.
Time for the movie.
And and the last page is so bad because she's like looking longingly at the hammer, and she can hear it still and everything, but like she can't have it, and it's right in front of her, and it's like that temptation. So she wonders, maybe the Mephistos actually did get through to me. You know, maybe they actually were right and everything. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah, and I like that was like really like a one-shot sort of issue in this larger story.
See, I haven't been reading this Avengers, but as someone who's like a massive fan of Aaron's Thor run, I feel like I should read that for completion because it feels like a continuation.
It really is. Yeah, all the stuff he does with Thor and like because Valkyrie's on the Avengers during this run, it's pretty much a continuation
of the stuff he was doing. Right on. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Speaking of continuation, I also had Devil's Reign Omega #1. It's been so long since Devil's Reign ended, but here we got the little primer for what the next era is going to be.
Ooh. I kind of like flicked through it, but like, yeah, tell me what it's about.
So there's a lot going on here, but also like it's just wrapping up loose ends. It's essentially, you know, Kingpin got away. Matt Murdock goes to Mr. Fantastic. It's like, can't you super science a way to find him? And Reed's like, yeah, I can, but he's not showing up on any facial recognition, which is basically Zdarsky saying, okay, we're done with Kingpin and Typhoid Mary for a bit now.
He put a fake mustache on.
Yeah. Well, they imply that he might be in Latveria.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
That it's the only place he could go where, you know, no man, god, human, or super scientist could find him. And that's where he's going to be hiding out for the next little bit. So looks like he kind of got away with the Devil's Reign and everything else that he did, which Matt doesn't love.
Okay.
They also have the funeral of Matt Murdock, who is really Mike, because Matt's letting everyone think he's dead.
Yes.
He's letting everyone think he's dead, but like literally all the important people know what really happened.
Yeah.
Foggy knows, Luke Cage and all of them know. Luke Cage, who is mayor now, by the way.
Okay, yeah. So we didn't really get to see like any of that story.
Yep, he won the election. He is now mayor, and he admits to Matt, look, I didn't want to do this. I only did it to try and, you know, make sure that Fisk was defeated. But you're out here saying you want to do more with your life and you want to stop the hand. So maybe I should do a little more with my life, too. Maybe I should see where this mayor thing goes.
Nice. And
Danny also looks to like just be his assistant. He's not Iron Fist anymore, but they're still like the heroes for hire. I love it.
Okay.
Because Butch shows up to the funeral and tries to put the fear into the new mayor, and Danny's like, no, call his office.
Yeah, okay.
And Butch is like really sympathetic too, because he's like, you know, this is a bullshit sham. I know that's Mike who died, not Matt, and like I'm his best friend, and I can't even mourn him. You heroes took this away from me.
Oof.
Yeah, and even Foggy's like, fuck, you're making a really good point now, actually. I guess we did kind of play gods on this one. Our bad. Kristen also doesn't know, and Foggy can't tell her.
Oh, no. Yeah, and she, like, saw him die.
Yes, Christian gives, like, this beautiful, heartfelt eulogy for Matt, but it's not Matt, it's Mike. And when they put Matt back, or Mike in the ground, she still has the Norn Stone.
Ooh, I was wondering what happened to that.
She has it. She unknowingly makes a wish on it to see Matt again, and then puts it in the coffin with Mike.
Oh, do you reckon that's gonna backfire and she's gonna see?
Oh yeah.
She's gonna like actually see like the real Matt, like.
Oh, 100%. This is like, oh, this is gonna be so important later. Oh, this is gonna fuck up everyone later. No doubt about it.
She's gonna catch him as Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. There's totally some shit that's going to go down on that one, no doubt about it. The other two stories, because it's like an Omega issue and it's filled with like backups, have nothing to do with Daredevil.
Oh, really?
Yes, but they're still pretty fun. One is actually setting up Jim Zub's Thunderbolts book.
Okay, yeah.
The idea is Luke is mayor now, but even though he's mayor, he can't undo the Thunderbolts initiative, and he can't undo the laws that Fisk passed right away.
Okay, yeah. There's like I guess a statute of limitations or something.
Yeah, so his thing is like, okay, the Thunderbolts are still running around as judge, jury, and executioner, so I have to try and change that. I have to take the fight to them. So he beats up Crossbones, he beats up a bunch of the Thunderbolts, and then he hires like a PR firm to take over the group. And it's like, look, you know, they weren't always villains. Sometimes they were a force for good, and let's try and do that again.
Okay, yeah, that's quite interesting.
Yes, my first role as mayor, I want to make them an actual force for good in the city. He goes to Monica Rambeau and he's like, look, I want you to lead the team because, I trust you and I believe in you, etc., etc. And Spectrum says no. She turns him down. She's like, no, Luke, because I know exactly how this is going to go. I'm going to be the leader of your team. The media and the powers that be are going to keep needling me and poking at me and calling me an angry black woman. I'm not doing it. So she flies away, and the PR firm is like, okay, we didn't get our first choice, but what about our fifth choice, Clinton Barton Hawkeye? He can lead the team. And Luke's like, fine, whatever. He's not doing anything, and he was the Thunderbolt before, so sure, why not?
Why not, yeah.
I love it's a big, long joke to be like, we didn't get the leader we wanted, but we got this instead. Jess also adopted Joseph the Purple Boy.
Oh, nice, yeah, cool.
Because he was like, they separated him from his siblings and they put him in a home where he had to wear a power dampening collar, and Jess wasn't having any of that. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. She went from Purple Man ruining her life and being one of her greatest foes to now actually taking care of this kid to make sure he doesn't become an evil bastard like his father.
That's cool, yeah.
It's very nice. It's a great bit of personal growth, and it means I really hope they make that fucking Mayor Luke Cage series, because imagine if he's dealing with that at home and doing mayor stuff.
I hope they do, because I know they keep canceling his books.
I know,
even before they come out, yeah.
Yeah, that Tochi Anabuchi one and everything. It's a real shame, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's a real shit, but it's good stuff.
Nice.
Good stuff, good issue. I don't know if it's required reading, but there's like one or two things that happen where it's like, oh, that's going to be important. That's going to be important.
Yeah, I'll probably end up just reading like the main story book, not the backups.
Again, you don't really need the backups, but also pick up Jim Zub's Thunderbolts when it comes out. And after that, I only had one more.
Cool. I had one more, but I imagine one of them is the one you're going to be talking about as well.
Mine was Legion of X. Did you read Legion of X?
No, I actually thought it was going to be Beyond the White Knight.
Okay, I did read that. Did that come out this week? Yeah, I guess this came out this week.
Yeah.
Okay, I did read that one. Okay, let's talk about that then, because we both read it.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool. We got to see the backstory of Derek Powers and Batman.
Yes, and he's weirdly sympathetic in this universe, or at least more sympathetic than he was in the cartoon.
Yes, yeah.
He was a guy who, did great things for Wayne Enterprises, but hated knowing that in this world, Wayne built their tech arm off the back of the Freeze's Nazi research.
Yes, and because of that, he was like shuttered over into like the automotive department, and he ended up turning that into Wayne Motors, and he was like getting military contracts and shit, and
he became the godfather of the Batmobile, basically.
Yeah, because Bruce didn't like what he was doing there, and we find out that because Bruce was using like parts from Wayne Motors on his Batmobiles, that Derek, because he's a smart dude, put two and two together, and that Bruce is actually Batman.
Yes, and they both kind of agreed to a mutually assured destruction. Powers would be free to do what he want with Wayne Automotive, and he would be able to make weapons and gear, but only if he made them for Batman.
Yep.
So he kind of became like an unwitting accomplice to this. And also, Batman and the Joker AI kind of argue it out, where it's like, look, if he just hated you and wanted to destroy you and your legacy, why did he keep Wayne in the name Wayne Powers? He could have written you out, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Again, he has a weird sort of respect for you. And even the Joker AI saying, I think people in this town like you and like Batman, even though you weren't a Wayne and everything. Yes. I think, your legacy means more than you think it does.
It does. And we kind of actually see parts of that legacy move on, especially with Duke's character.
Yes.
With Duke trying to like turn in his badge and like wants to like leave because Barbara and Dick are having like a shit fight with each other. And Barbara ends up like denying him that and deciding like, you're going to work for Bruce because Bruce is no doubt going to need help against the GTO and Powers. So you're going to become the new Robin.
I love that Duke became a Robin in this universe after all. Holy shit. And
as well as like, I was like reading the book and I'm like, like Duke's like role as like, the guy who like ran for mayor and like he was helping all the people. He's like the only character in this whole series who doesn't have like an ulterior motive.
No,
like a hidden agenda. Like he just wants to help the people of Gotham, and I think
that's been trying to do good.
That's like the purest form of what Batman is, and the Bat symbol. So it makes sense that he would become like a Robin.
And the Robin was always meant to be like this, grounding force for Batman, this true North Star and everything. Do it for the children, do it for the people who look up to you and everything.
Yeah, so have Bruce get that back is going to be quite interesting, because as well, like, Jack was also talking about how, like, he can keep running from, like, the cape and cowl and everything, but that's who he is.
I love when he puts on the new costume. They basically reframe that scene from Return of the Joker, where it's like, oh, the ears are a little too long and I missed the cape. Ooh, the jacket is like a cape, and ooh, those little things look like ears. Very fun, very fun. Oh, and we find out the truth about Bruce and Harley getting married. They only did it so Harley wouldn't have to, testify against him in court.
Yeah, he should have spousal privilege.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though perhaps she likes him more than he likes her, or there's definitely more going on there.
Absolutely, yeah. And
that the Jack AI is kind of upset about the whole thing.
He's upset about it, but he's like, you know what? I kind of give you my blessing, because, like, if anyone was to be with Harley, it should be you, because it makes sense.
And Bruce is like, I am not your best friend.
We don't have anything in common, but, like, they kind of do, because they're both fathers, and they both love the same woman, and
yeah. And they both want to try and save Jackie now, which is cool.
Yes, yeah.
Which is another big thing. And, of course, Powers lied to Terry and said, like, oh, it was Bruce Wayne who killed your father. You should go kill him.
Yeah, he's been, like... I like what they've been doing with Terry, where, like, we haven't really got much of him, but what we have, we got him, he's like a kid who's just out of his depth completely. Totally. He's using the bat suit, but, like, he's not really using it, because Derek can, like, take control of it. Like, he uses it to, like, kill that one guard when Terry was trying to, like, do things, like, his way and, like, just
non-violently,
knock out the guards and everything, yeah.
The suit's not perfect either, because like coffee gets it to decloak.
Yeah, which makes sense, because they've hit it home that it's a prototype suit. It was like half finished when they stole it.
Yeah, it's not the one we know from the cartoon yet.
No.
But yeah, this book, this series, this universe continues to keep throwing curveballs, and again, I have no idea what they're gonna do next.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good.
I'm all about it. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit. The last one I read this week was Legion of X, which is, of course, the big Cy Spurrier sequel to Way of X.
Tell me what are they doing in here? What religion are they setting up now?
Man, they do more concept work and more big ideas in this one issue than, like, most other series I've read.
Yep.
So Nightcrawler and Legion formed their church, the Church of the Spark, and with that they have a new team, the Legionaries.
Okay.
Which are one part warrior priests and one part kind of cops that enforce the laws of Krakoa, but also amend the laws as they see fit, because they saw all the flaws in them in the last series.
Okay, yep.
Nightcrawler hates the idea of being called cops, though, but that's basically what their job has become now.
I was wondering when, like, Krakoa, because Krakoa was getting, like, its own companies and all this stuff. I'm like, when are you going to get, like
your own police force?
Your own police force and, like, medics and stuff? Because you had, like,
it's the
detectives
Legionaries
and everything,
Yeah. It's the fucking Legionaries. They're basically beat cops now. And Nightcrawler gets called to Mars by Storm because there's a big crisis of faith happening amongst the Arakai.
Okay.
So we get to learn about their religion. And Nightcrawler's like, well, I assume they were just like a bunch of militant atheists. And we meet basically the head of, the faithful in Erico, and it's this big eyeball mutant called Arbitrix, which, obviously Arbitrix, Arbiter. And she's like, no, it's not that, the people of Erico are, atheists. We used to have gods. We had a whole pantheon once upon a time, but we thought that they made us weak, so we killed them all.
Yeah, they always talk about wanting to return to Amenth and the ruling of Amenth and everything like that.
Yeah, we killed our gods, and now that we're living on Mars, now that you guys pulled us out of Amenth and everything, now gods stop by every so often to try and get us to worship them. But here's the thing. Everything in Erico is done through the lens of combat. Yes. Civil matters, matters of faith, everything is settled by combat. So lots of gods of death and war and destruction come to us, and we kill them. Yeah, it's not that we don't believe gods and theology exist. It's just we've never found a god worth worshiping. When we find a strong one, we'll worship them. Until then, we'll just kill them. And oh yeah, my eyeball, I can literally disintegrate anything just by looking at it. And Nightcrawler's like, that's fucking horrifying. What do you want from me? Oh, well, a trickster god came here and didn't fight in the arena, which is actually the greatest insult and affront to our whole people. And we think they're hiding out in Krakoa. So find them and bring them back for us, because if you don't, I'm going to start looking and start disintegrating shit. No pressure.
That's great. I'd love for them to tie this into X-Men Red and have Vulcan try and become their new god, because that was like his whole thing in that second issue of X-Men Red. He was like trying to instill his will over their Krakoans because he used to be like the leader of the Shi'ar Empire, and he wants to get that godhood back. I'd love for them to tie it into that.
They might just. We get introduced to some new members of the team who weren't in Way of X. Forget-Me-Not is on the team.
Oh, yeah. The mutant who's there from the beginning.
Yep, but no one ever knows. And the whole deal is he's working as a detective, bringing in lawbreakers, because there was one mutant who killed his wife and then, ran away to Krakoa, so the cops couldn't get him.
Yep.
And Forget-Me-Not's like, yeah, this power is actually pretty useful getting information out of people. You've been talking to me all night at the bar. You just don't remember me. And I got you to admit to your crime. And now that you've admitted to it, my partner's going to take you in for questioning. Get him, Juggernaut. Yeah, Juggernaut is his partner, and Kane's like, yeah, Professor X said I could hang out here in Mutant Paradise, and basically it's a work release program. If I bring in criminals, I can hang out in Mutant Paradise, even though I'm only half mutant, and I can get beers with Black Tom, who really missed me and everything.
It's nepotism, is what it is. I tell you,
it's 100% nepotism. Even Nightcrawler's like, fucking seriously, dude, he's getting his family here. And he's like, at least he talks to you. He doesn't talk to Legion. Legion is living in the astral plane, the altar, which is their warship dimension, basically, that gives you all the good shit you get from religion.
Yep.
And Blindfold is there too, his girlfriend, because now that Moira is gone, precogs can be resurrected again.
Yes, yeah. They mentioned that in the in X-Men Red again, because of the Scarlet Witch gave him access to that afterlife where they can find dead mutants who from before Cerebro, and it's a lot of precogs and stuff.
Yeah. And she's like, I don't want to live in the physical realm anymore because I killed myself when X-Man was a thing. So I'm just going to live here in the astral plane with you. That still doesn't mean I don't get visions, though. Oh, I just saw a vision of the Magus, Warlock's father, getting killed by Nimrod. You should probably go tell him.
Oh, no.
So he just ruins poor Warlock. He's like, hey, man, here's a vision of your father being brutally murdered by Nimrod.
Oh, no.
And he's like, oh, fucking God, why would you show me that? And Legion's like, I didn't think, machine life could leave psychic signatures, but your father did, and also you're totally sad like how a human would be. Damn, we're learning a lot. There's so much about machine life to still learn. Also, Nimrod is killing other god machines, and that's pretty bad. And the big finale there is Legion gets met by Mother Righteous, the brand new villain they're pushing now.
Okay.
And her deal is she's like an astral trader who lives outside the material realm, and instead of selling regular goods, she sells abstract concepts, dreams and glory, and also gods and demons.
Oh, that's cool.
She just sells those, and I'm like, that's pretty nuts.
That's awesome, yeah.
So she either probably knows the mischief god, or she is the mischief god.
Probably is. Or one of them are escaped from her collection or something, yeah.
Or something like that, and I'm like, that's pretty dope. That's a good high concept idea for a villain, especially in a time when they've either redeemed all the X-Men villains or used up all the noteworthy ones. It's about time they start inventing some new ones.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds interesting, yeah.
So yeah, it's fucking high concept as shit.
Yeah, well, again, Way of X was as well.
Yeah, I mean, Cy Spurrier's just totally taking the limiters off, and it's okay, let's actually talk about consent and theology and why human nature, why we do the things we do and everything, and agnosticism, and it's just goddamn, I feel smart reading this. It's one of the few comics where every time I read it, I'm like, yeah, I feel genuinely smart for reading this.
You have to have a certain IQ to read Legion of X.
You basically do, yeah. I mean, fucking kinda. Or else it's just gonna feel like a bunch of gibberish. Also, it feels that 12 years of fucking Catholic school wasn't a waste. I totally get where goddamn Nightcrawler is coming from in so much of this. And someone even brings up the fact where it's like, weren't you a priest at one point? It's like, well, I was, but it was part of a... We don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, we don't talk about that, yeah.
We don't talk about that story. That's a terrible story, but yes, I was almost a priest one time. But yeah, that was the last book I had this week.
Cool. The last book I had this week was Batman Fortress.
Oh, yes, from the Rogue One writer. This really is a fucking Star Wars-y episode, isn't this?
Yeah, and this one was actually kind of cool.
Was it? I was not sure. I didn't pick it up because I was just kind of like, Batman burnout.
Yeah, again, like, you look at it and you're like, oh, yeah, it's a Batman book, and he's got to save Gotham from a blackout, but it's a lot more than that. This is, like, a really small part of a large story. So yeah, we find out that like there is a blackout in Gotham, and it's like Gotham City wide and Gotham County wide. All like the power went out, batteries and generators still work, but it's all gone out, and there's like riots and shit. And Batman and Alfred are trying to work out what happened because they know it was some sort of electromagnetic phenomenon that happened. So while Alfred looks into that, Bruce goes out into the city and like meets with Jim and learns that like, because all the locks on Arkham went down, all of Arkham, all the people in Arkham got out, so he has to like and like stop all the villains. And it's just really great because as the story goes along, we learn that this is actually a prelude to a large scale alien invasion, and we learned that it's not just Gotham that's blacked out; the entire world is.
That's really bad.
And not only that, no one knows where Superman is. He's just completely disappeared, and Bruce is very worried because if something like this is going down, they're going to want Superman.
Yeah, just maybe.
And he makes the decision like, right, well, the whole world is in trouble, so like, you know, the whole world isn't just Gotham, so I'm going to need to like pick my battles of where I need to be. We need to assemble the Justice League and sort out what the hell is going on. So yeah, this issue is him sort of figuring out there's like a large-scale alien invasion. There is like some sort of weird thing, I guess like a UFO. He doesn't know exactly what it is yet in the Indian Ocean, and that's where this electromagnetic pulse is emanating from. And yeah, most of the issue is just him in Gotham sort of dealing with stuff that's happening as Alfred's sort of learning all about this stuff. But what was interesting was his inner monologue, because it's very Batman, but it's very un-Batman, because it's very obvious that this is a Batman who knows his limits and knows he can't do everything. And interesting. And is a Batman who's part of a larger world, you know, with Superman in the league. So he knows like there is hope in the world that they're going to be able to get through this, and that he has to rely on other people like Alfred and Gordon and, you know, the Justice League.
That's a fun pitch.
So yeah, and it's even better because like he sees like all these people like looting and they're like stealing TVs and everything. It's like, I'm not going to stop these people because these companies have insurance.
Nice.
I mostly probably own most of these companies, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, just take it on the chin. Thanks, Batman.
But he knows not only that, he doesn't want to give people the impression that he will stop these, because he's there to protect people, not profit margins.
Hey, there you go. That's a good thing for Batman in 2022 to say.
There's also a really cool part at the start where a bunch of people break into Wayne Manor trying to steal shit, and Bruce like takes him down, and Alfred takes him down, and one of the guys says he had like 5 kids to feed, and Bruce is like, okay, we're gonna arrest him, but check in on that guy and see if he actually does have 5 kids. If he does, give him some money from the Wayne Foundation.
I like that.
But yeah. So the book ends with him leaving Gotham because he knows, like, you know, the whole world's in trouble. I don't need to worry about Gotham. Gotham's in good hands with Gordon, Joker, and all that. They're all arrested. Don't need to worry about all that. I'm going to go and help the Justice League deal with this larger threat and find out where Superman is.
Well, that does sound like a fairly decent pitch. Maybe I'll pick it up when it's done.
Yeah, again, like it's kind of like all those other books where it's like, oh, we're selling it as a Batman book, but really it's just going to be like a large scale Justice League book, you know.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I also like the idea of a Batman who understands his limitations and is trying to work within them.
It's really interesting compared to like all those Batmans where it's like, I don't need help. We don't need anyone's help. I can just do it all on my own. He's like,
I'm just a man.
Yeah, he knows his limitations. He knows what he can do, especially in like an incident like an alien invasion where he's fucking Batman. What's he gonna do against a fucking alien?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that's good. So is that everything we have this week, Matt?
That's everything.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming and hanging out and listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. Next week, I think we're going to do Retro Hero Video. I know we normally do that at the end of the month, but I knew with all this Star Wars stuff, we should probably hit it while it was still hot.
Yep.
I asked the patron what story arc they wanted to see us do for the next set of episodes, and they almost overwhelmingly picked us to watch episodes of shows that we've never seen before.
Okay, yeah.
So I think we're going to do Legion of Superheroes, Crypto the Super Dog there to tie in with the movie that's coming out. And we'll probably watch an episode of Pennyworth too. We'll watch fucking Pennyworth already. That'll be the finale. You got to get through the other ones to get to Pennyworth. Also, hey, did you watch that last Fantastic Four show? I know I sure didn't, but I see the footage every so often, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was a show.
That the one from the 90s?
No, this was like 2000s. There was a Fantastic Four show. It was the last Fantastic Four show they did that was just for them.
The only one I just remember there was a Fantastic Four. Maybe it was part of that weird Avengers cartoon where they all had like weird armor.
No, that you're thinking United They Stand. No, this is a different one. This is like the last Fantastic Four cartoon they made. Yeah. Good, you didn't see it. That's the point.
Yeah, no, okay.
Now, this will be interesting, too, because these are all newer shows, not like more retro stuff that we were doing. And, obviously with like Batman the Animated Series and Static and Superman and everything, I can speak with a certain level of authority. This means I'm going to have to actually research that much harder.
I know Legion of Superheroes. I think I've seen like very brief like clips of it. I know like there's like a clone Superman or some fucking...
Yes, everyone really loves that clone Superman from season 2.
Yeah,
he's like the Red Hood of that show.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch the first episodes of all of those and see how they kind of stack up. So that'll be interesting.
Nice.
So get ready for that, everyone. For the next, 4 or 5 months, that'll be, the special end-of-month episodes that we do for Retro Hero Video. And again, if you want to vote on that, you too can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and you can actually have a say in what we end up doing. Because I had a whole list of arcs that we might do, like, the Two-Face arc, the Harley arc, the celebrity cameo arc. I mean, Mr. Freeze, which obviously we're going to have to do, but we're going to do that one later.
Yes. Yeah, definitely Mr. Freeze episode.
Yeah, that's like a golden one we're going to have to get to eventually because, we're going to do the episodes, and then you got the Batman Beyond one, and then you got the movie, so we got to do a movie in there, too.
Yes, yep.
Which maybe we'll do a commentary for that one, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Instead of having to do a whole episode about it, because it works out to be about the same time, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, either way, everyone, look forward to that. Thank you so much for coming out and watching the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who super chatted. Always super appreciated. Helps keeps the light on. Helps, keep us in comic books, which are only getting more expensive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, are they ever?
Yeah, we'll be back again next week, everyone. So get ready for that.
Yeah, see you, everyone.
Bye-bye.